Here's something that catches many men off guard. Once men enter their 50s, over half will face declining testosterone levels. The Massachusetts male aging study reveals that nearly 50% of men past 40 notice shifts in intimate function, vitality, or emotional well-being. Yet most remain silent about these changes. Rather than open dialogue, we see quick fix solutions, trendy supplements, and whispered misconceptions. Perhaps you've encountered statements like, simply take this supplement and watch your testosterone surge instantly, or perhaps once your levels start dropping, there's no turning back. Both claims are false. Reality exists between these extremes. So testosterone naturally fluctuates with age, yet daily habits, food choices, and simple routines can create substantial impact. One particular routine, which forms the core of today's discussion, centers on something as straightforward as combining a specific ingredient with olive oil at night. This might sound peculiar, yet I assure you we're not discussing gimmicks, shortcuts, or miraculous remedies. We're examining how dietary choices influence your hormones, metabolism, and complete well-being. Consider this perspective. Your body doesn't suddenly malfunction after reaching 50. It resembles a carefully balanced ensemble. Over time, certain elements like testosterone may diminish slightly, while others, such as cortisol or insulin resistance, become more pronounced. The outcome isn't balance, but disorder. The objective isn't forcing one component to maximum intensity, but reestablishing equilibrium across the entire system. This is where foods like olive oil, abundant in monounsaturated fats and protective compounds, become relevant. In Mediterranean regions where olive oil is fundamental, men demonstrate not only superior heart health, but also healthier testosterone patterns compared to numerous Western societies. Combine this with a particular nutrient partner, and you witness synergy, a method of gently supporting the hormonal system rather than working against it. Throughout this presentation, I'll guide you through scientific evidence, common misconceptions, and actionable steps. We'll examine what olive oil accomplishes for your hormones, why combining it with certain ingredients before sleep makes biological sense, and how these modest routines affect not just testosterone, but also your vitality, rest quality, and prostate wellness. Above all, I want you to gain understanding, not bewilderment, anxiety, or empty assurances, because you deserve comprehension of how your body functions, particularly at this life stage. By our conclusion, you'll understand the research, practical applications, and underlying reasons this nighttime practice may merit consideration. Approach this as a consultation, composed, truthful, and evidence-based. Let's establish the groundwork. Research demonstrates that testosterone doesn't abruptly plummet at 50 or 60. Instead, it declines gradually, approximately 1% annually after ages 30 to 40. This data comes from extensive studies, including research published by the National Institutes of Health tracking hormonal changes across decades. This means by the late 50s, a man's testosterone might be 20 to 30% lower than during his 20s. This isn't always catastrophic, but it's observable. Confusion often begins here. Some men attribute every symptom, reduced vitality, weakened erections, emotional fluctuations, to diminished testosterone. Others believe it's simply aging's inevitable consequence and nothing helps. Neither perspective is entirely accurate. Think of testosterone as a broadcast signal similar to your home's wireless connection. Signal strength matters, yet so does the receiving device's quality. Within the male body, testosterone must attach to receptors, interact with enzymes, and balance against other hormones like estrogen and cortisol. You might have acceptable testosterone levels on laboratory tests, yet if your receptors are hindered by inflammation or excessive fat tissue, the signal fails to transmit. Conversely, even moderate testosterone levels can function powerfully when your body is optimized to utilize it effectively. This is why age alone doesn't dictate testosterone health. Lifestyle elements, sleep patterns, nutrition, stress levels, alcohol consumption, smoking habits, physical activity determine whether the hormonal system operates harmoniously or chaotically. For instance, Harvard Medical School researchers have demonstrated that obesity, particularly abdominal adiposity, transforms testosterone into estrogen through an enzyme called aromatase. Therefore, increased belly fat means greater testosterone loss through estrogen conversion. This is an age problem, but an environmental one. Another crucial point. Testosterone extends beyond intimate drive or performance. It's essential for bone strength, muscle maintenance, red blood cell creation, and emotional stability. When levels drop too significantly, men often describe not merely diminished bedroom performance, but also mental cloudiness, exhaustion, and general vitality loss. Medical organizations like the American Urological Association recommend that reduced testosterone should be viewed as a clinical condition, not merely a test number. Both symptoms and laboratory findings matter. What does this mean for you? It indicates you possess more influence over your testosterone than you might assume. Small evidence-supported daily practices can slow the decline, sometimes even reverse it, and almost always enhance how your body utilizes the testosterone you currently produce. This is where nutrition becomes essential. Studies of Mediterranean populations where olive oil, nuts, fish, and vegetables dominate eating patterns consistently reveal higher testosterone levels and improved intimate function in older men compared to Western populations. Olive oil specifically has been shown in clinical trials, including research published in Natural Product Communications, to elevate testosterone levels with daily consumption, likely through reducing oxidative stress and improving cholesterol processing. Remember, testosterone is constructed from cholesterol. Healthy fats supply the building blocks while antioxidants shield the hormone, producing cells from harm. So when we question why combine olive oil with another ingredient before sleep, the answer starts here because testosterone isn't just a measurement. It's a network. You support that network with appropriate raw materials at optimal times in the proper environment. By addressing natural hormonal shifts of aging with small, targeted decisions, you're not battling your body, you're enabling it to function optimally. As a practical consideration for this section, I encourage reflection on your own baseline. Are you experiencing fatigue, muscle loss, or changes in intimate health? If so, it might not be solely aging. These are signals worth acknowledging. It says consult your physician about testing both total and free testosterone levels. And remember, while medication can occasionally assist, nutrition and lifestyle remain the primary and most potent tools available. This establishes the foundation for our next discussion, where we'll examine olive oil specifically, what it accomplishes internally, why it differs from other oils, and how it became such a pillar of healthy aging across numerous cultures. Now that we've established how testosterone changes after 50, let's examine olive oil itself more closely. Why is this particular food, more than virtually any other oil, so profoundly linked to hormonal wellness, cardiovascular function, and male vitality? Research reveals that olive oil, especially extra virgin varieties, is abundant in monounsaturated fats, primarily oleic acid and polyphenols, natural plant antioxidants. These compounds have been studied extensively from the University of Madrid to Harvard School of Public Health, and findings are remarkably uniform. Olive oil is not only safe for cardiovascular health, but also beneficial for hormonal equilibrium. Consider your hormone-producing organs, your testes, adrenal glands, and even your brain as manufacturing facilities. These facilities require raw materials, clean fuel, and well-maintained equipment to operate efficiently. Cholesterol, which often receives unfair criticism, is actually the foundational material for testosterone production. Your body takes cholesterol, transports it into the testes, then converts it into testosterone through a sequence of enzymatic processes. If your cholesterol balance is compromised, or if the machinery is damaged by oxidative stress, testosterone production can falter. Olive oil addresses both aspects of this equation. First, the healthy fats provide a consistent cholesterol source in a form that supports hormone production without blocking arteries or raising dangerous LDL levels. Second, the antioxidants in olive oil protect the Leydig cells in the testes, the very cells responsible for testosterone production, from oxidative damage. A study published in Natural Product Communications in 2013 discovered that men consuming olive oil daily showed improved testosterone levels and healthier lipid profiles compared to those consuming butter or margarine. But benefits extend beyond testosterone. Olive oil also enhances insulin sensitivity. Why does this matter? Because insulin resistance, which becomes common after 50, is a silent testosterone disruptor. When blood sugar spikes and insulin levels stay elevated, the hormonal system we discussed earlier becomes disordered. By smoothing these spikes, Olive oil helps restore balance not only to metabolism but also to hormones. Another distinctive benefit of olive oil is its impact on inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation acts like static interference in the hormonal system. It weakens signals, interferes with receptor sensitivity, and accelerates testosterone conversion into estrogen. Polyphenols in olive oil, such as hydroxytyrosol, act like noise-canceling technology, reducing background interference so the testosterone signal can transmit clearly. Imagine your hormones as musicians performing on stage. If the stage is smoke-filled and instruments are dusty, even skilled musicians cannot deliver clear performance. Olive oil is like opening windows, clearing smoke, and polishing instruments so the music, your hormonal signals, can be heard with clarity and strength. It's also worth noting that olive oil has direct implications for prostate wellness. A comprehensive review in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry highlighted that diets rich in olive oil are associated with reduced risks of prostate inflammation and potentially even prostate cancer. This matters because the prostate is not only central to male reproductive health, but also highly responsive to hormonal changes. Supporting it with anti-inflammatory and antioxidant foods is a powerful preventive measure. Here's a practical suggestion. If you're not already incorporating olive oil into your daily eating patterns, start simply. Replace butter or margarine with extra virgin olive oil for cooking or salad dressings. Target at least 2 tablespoons daily. Remember, quality matters. Extra virgin olive oil, cold-pressed and stored in dark glass bottles, contains the highest levels of protective polyphenols. Before we continue, I want to pause and invite you into this conversation. If this explanation is helping you understand these connections, give this video approval. It helps more men discover accurate research-based information instead of falling for quick fixes online. And comment below. Let me know if olive oil is already part of your daily routine or if this is something you're considering. In our next section, we'll explore why olive oil becomes even more effective when combined with specific foods before bed. This is where synergy occurs, not just nutrition, but timing and pairing that enhance absorption and hormonal rhythms overnight. We now address an intriguing question. Why does it matter what you combine olive oil with before sleep? Is this merely tradition, or is there genuine science behind timing and food pairing? Research shows that nutrient absorption and hormonal rhythms aren't static throughout the day. They shift according to circadian cycles, the internal clock governing sleep, hormone release, and even digestion. Testosterone, for instance, peaks during early morning hours and is lowest during evening. Growth hormone, conversely, surges during deep sleep, assisting with tissue repair and metabolic balance. When you consume appropriate foods before bed, you're not simply feeding your stomach. You're feeding into this hormonal rhythm, creating conditions where testosterone can be supported and protected overnight. Let's take olive oil as our foundation. Alone, it delivers healthy fats and antioxidants, but when paired with other foods rich in minerals, amino acids, or specific compounds, it becomes part of a symphony supporting hormonal health. For example, mixing olive oil with a zinc source, such as pumpkin seeds or a small serving of yogurt, can enhance testosterone support. Zinc is a critical cofactor in testosterone production. Without it, the body struggles to complete the conversion process. A study from Oregon State University showed that even mild zinc deficiency leads to measurable testosterone reductions. By pairing zinc-rich foods with olive oil, absorption improves and the nutrients work synergistically. Another powerful partner is honey. Beyond its pleasant sweetness, honey contains flavonoids and natural sugars that gently support insulin sensitivity while providing fuel for the brain overnight. In traditional medicine, honey mixed with olive oil has long been used as a tonic for male vitality. Modern science is beginning to validate some of these traditions. Studies published in evidence-based complementary and alternative medicine suggest that honey may have antioxidant and androgen supportive properties. When taken with olive oil, the combination appears to amplify protective effects on hormone-producing tissues. Timing also matters. Consuming this mixture before bed allows the body to metabolize the fat slowly through the night, providing steady nutrient release rather than sharp spikes. This aligns with the body's natural production of luteinizing hormone, which stimulates the testes to produce testosterone primarily during early morning hours. Think of it like preparing fuel for a fire just before the coldest part of night. You're preparing your system to burn steadily, not sputter and fade. There's also the digestion question. Olive oil, when taken in moderation, slows gastric emptying just enough to allow smoother absorption of fat-soluble vitamins and minerals. This means if you pair it with a small serving of magnesium-rich foods like almonds, your body is more likely to absorb and utilize that magnesium. Magnesium itself has been shown in studies published in the Journal of Pharmaceutical and Biomedical Analysis to enhance free testosterone levels in older men. In other words, the food you pair with olive oil influences not only absorption, but also hormonal outcomes. Imagine olive oil as a vehicle. Alone, it's reliable and well constructed. But when you add the right passenger, zinc, magnesium, flavonoids, the vehicle carries them safely to the destination, your hormone-producing tissues. Taking olive oil with appropriate partners before bed ensures delivery happens during hours when your hormonal system is most receptive. A practical example might look like this: 1 to 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil mixed with a teaspoon of raw honey and a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds or crushed almonds, taken 30 to 40 minutes before bed. This isn't a large meal, but a nourishing ritual. It provides healthy fats, minerals, and antioxidants, exactly the resources your body needs overnight. As we move forward, I want to emphasize this is not a replacement for medical care if you have genuinely low testosterone. It is, however, a safe, evidence-informed ritual that aligns with your body's natural rhythms. Think of it as setting the stage so that when your body produces testosterone in early morning, it has the tools to succeed. Now, we'll dive deeper into another often overlooked connection: how olive oil influences insulin, belly fat, and weight control, and why these factors may be even more important for testosterone than the food itself. So far, we've examined olive oil as a source of healthy fats, antioxidants, and a partner for nutrients before bed. But there's another critical dimension to this story: the relationship between olive oil, insulin sensitivity, belly fat, and testosterone health. Research shows that insulin resistance, which becomes increasingly common in men after 50, is one of the silent destroyers of testosterone. When your body becomes resistant to insulin, blood sugar remains elevated, fat storage increases, especially around the abdomen, and inflammation spreads throughout the body. This combination triggers a chain reaction. Belly fat produces more aromatase, the enzyme converting testosterone into estrogen. Over time, this creates hormonal imbalance where testosterone falls, estrogen rises, and vitality declines. A study published in the journal Diabetes Care highlighted that men with central obesity and insulin resistance had significantly lower testosterone compared to men of the same age without insulin problems. In fact, the relationship is so strong that many endocrinologists now consider low testosterone both a cause and consequence of metabolic syndrome. It's a vicious cycle. Low testosterone encourages fat gain, and fat gain further lowers testosterone. Now, where does olive oil fit? Clinical studies on the Mediterranean diet, in which olive oil is a central component, consistently show improvements in insulin sensitivity and reductions in abdominal fat. A landmark study published in the New England Journal of Medicine followed thousands of participants over several years. Those who consumed a Mediterranean diet rich in olive oil not only had lower risks of heart disease, but also demonstrated better glucose control compared to those eating a low-fat diet. Think of olive oil as a gentle regulator. By slowing carbohydrate absorption and improving cell membrane function, it helps insulin work more effectively. The polyphenols in olive oil also reduce oxidative stress in the pancreas, the organ responsible for producing insulin. This dual effect, improving insulin action and reducing inflammation, directly protects testosterone from being overwhelmed by metabolic chaos. Imagine insulin as the key that unlocks the door to your cells so glucose can enter and provide energy. In insulin resistance, that key becomes damaged. The door doesn't open easily. Glucose lingers in the bloodstream and the whole system becomes strained. Olive oil acts like lubrication for the lock, smoothing the mechanism so the key can turn again. When the door opens, glucose enters efficiently. Fat storage decreases. And testosterone no longer faces the same metabolic burden. And here's the part most men overlook: belly fat isn't just an aesthetic concern. It's hormonally active tissue. Every extra inch around the waistline is like adding another source, broadcasting estrogen into your hormonal system. Reducing belly fat isn't about appearance. It's about reclaiming hormonal balance. Practical application is straightforward. If you replace saturated fats like butter, margarine, or processed oils with extra virgin olive oil, you're not only supporting cardiovascular health, but also reducing one of the most powerful drains on testosterone, insulin resistance. Over time, this substitution may help lower waist circumference, improve glucose control, and reduce the estrogenic pressure that belly fat creates. What might this look like in your daily life? Drizzle olive oil over steamed vegetables instead of using cream-based sauces. Add it to whole grains or legumes at dinner, which will help moderate blood sugar spikes. And as we discussed earlier, combine it with nutrient-dense foods before bed for maximum synergy. Before we move forward, let me gently encourage you, if this information resonates, subscribe to the channel. This way, you'll continue receiving grounded, judgment-free insights that empower you to take control of your health. Too many men struggle silently with these issues, and the more we spread accurate knowledge, the more we can normalize the conversation. Now, we'll shift focus to another critical factor: sleep and stress hormones. Because the time you take olive oil and what happens in your body during the night may be just as important as what you consume. We now arrive at an often overlooked dimension of testosterone health: the role of sleep and stress hormones, and why your nighttime ritual with olive oil matters more than you might realize. Research shows that testosterone follows a daily rhythm, rising during the night and peaking during early morning hours. This rise is tightly linked to deep restorative sleep. Studies from the University of Chicago have shown that men who are sleep deprived can see testosterone levels drop by as much as 15% after just 1 week of restricted sleep. That decline can mimic what you would normally expect after 10 to 15 years of aging. In other words, poor sleep accelerates hormonal decline. Simultaneously, stress hormones such as cortisol play a critical role. Cortisol, often called the fight or flight hormone, naturally peaks in the morning to help you wake up and gradually falls at night to prepare you for rest. But in many men, chronic stress keeps cortisol elevated into the evening. This is problematic because cortisol and testosterone have an inverse relationship. When cortisol is high, testosterone production is suppressed. Imagine two children on a seesaw. When one goes up, the other must go down. This is where a nightly ritual anchored in nutrition can make a profound difference. Olive oil, when paired with calming, nutrient-rich foods, does more than provide raw materials for testosterone. It also helps regulate stress responses and supports better sleep quality. The healthy fats in olive oil promote the release of satiety hormones that calm hunger signals, preventing late-night blood sugar spikes that can disrupt sleep. Additionally, when combined with magnesium-rich foods such as almonds or leafy greens earlier in the evening, it encourages relaxation of the nervous system. Magnesium acts as a natural muscle relaxant and supports the production of melatonin, the hormone governing sleep. Think of your nighttime ritual as setting the stage for a performance. If the lights are too bright, the instruments out of tune, and the audience restless, the performance cannot begin smoothly. By consuming a small calming mixture of olive oil with honey seeds or nuts before bed, you're dimming the lights, tuning the instruments, and preparing the orchestra, in this case, your hormones, for their nightly performance. Another aspect worth noting is olive oil's impact on inflammation. Chronic inflammation not only interferes with testosterone production, but also disrupts sleep by activating stress pathways in the brain. Polyphenols in olive oil act as natural anti-inflammatories, calming those pathways and creating a smoother transition into deep sleep. A practical example might be this: about 30 minutes before bed, take 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil blended with a teaspoon of raw honey and a small handful of crushed almonds or pumpkin seeds. This simple ritual provides healthy fats, antioxidants, magnesium, and zinc. It's not heavy enough to cause digestive discomfort, but it's nourishing enough to stabilize blood sugar and signal to your body that it's time to rest and repair. Now, let me connect this back to testosterone. Remember that luteinizing hormone, the signal from the brain that tells the tests to produce testosterone, is released in pulses during the night, especially during the deepest stages of sleep. If your sleep is shallow, fragmented, or cut short, those pulses are weaker and fewer in number. But when sleep is deep and restorative, the pulses are strong and testosterone production is maximized. That's why a nightly ritual that calms the nervous system and stabilizes blood sugar isn't just a nutritional habit, it's a hormonal investment. As a gentle call to action, I encourage you to try this for 1 week. Notice not only how you feel in the morning, but also how you sleep. If you find this helpful, let me know in the comments. Sharing your experience could help another man who is silently struggling with the same challenges. In our next section, we'll bring these ideas together and look at the final piece, how to create a realistic long-term ritual that protects testosterone, supports vitality, and fits seamlessly into your daily life. We've now explored the science of testosterone decline, the unique properties of olive oil, the power of pairing it with other foods, its effect on insulin and belly fat, and the importance of sleep. The question now becomes, how do you bring this knowledge into your daily life in a way that is practical, sustainable, and effective? Research shows that long-term consistency matters more than dramatic short-term changes. A study from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism demonstrated that men who maintained healthy lifestyle habits, including balanced nutrition, regular physical activity, and consistent sleep, showed not only higher testosterone levels, but also lower risks of chronic disease. What this means is that it's not about one night of mixing olive oil with seeds or honey. It's about creating a small ritual that you can repeat over months and years. Let's break it down step by step, as I would with a patient in the clinic. First, choose quality olive oil, extra virgin, cold pressed, stored in a dark glass bottle. Avoid cheap blended oils that are diluted with soybean or sunflower oil. Quality ensures that you're actually getting the polyphenols and antioxidants that make this practice worthwhile. Second, decide on a simple pairing. If your primary concern is testosterone production, focus on zinc and magnesium, pumpkin seeds, almonds, or even a small portion of Greek yogurt. If your goal is better sleep and nervous system relaxation, consider honey for its calming sugars and flavonoids. If inflammation is a concern, consider turmeric or ginger as additional partners, both of which can be gently blended into olive oil. The key is not complexity, but consistency. Third, time it right. Consume your mixture about 30 to 40 minutes before bed. This gives your body enough time to begin digestion, but not so much that you feel heavy or uncomfortable. Remember, the goal is to prepare your system for deep sleep and hormonal repair. Fourth, pair the ritual with environment. Dim the lights, reduce screen time, and avoid stimulants such as caffeine or alcohol in the hours leading up to bedtime. Olive oil will help this, but it cannot overcome the disruptive effects of late night stress or blue light exposure. Think of this as setting the stage for your hormones to perform optimally. Fifth, track your response. Every man's body is slightly different. Pay attention to how you feel in the mornings, your energy throughout the day, and even your intimate health. These are signals that tell you whether the system is tuning properly. If you notice improvements, continue. If not, consider adjusting the partner ingredients or speaking with your doctor about further testing. Here's a metaphor that may help you remember. Imagine building a campfire. Olive oil is the dry wood. Reliable and steady honey, seeds, or nuts are the kindling that helps the fire catch. Your nightly environment, darkness, calm, and routine is the shield that protects the fire from wind. Together they create a steady, warming flame that lasts through the night. That flame is your testosterone, your vitality, your energy. And remember, this ritual is not meant to stand alone. It works best when combined with daytime habits that support hormonal health, regular exercise, strength training, stress management, and balanced meals rich in whole foods. Olive oil at night is like the finishing note of the orchestra, but the rest of the performance still matters. As we move into the conclusion, I want to leave you with this reassurance. Low energy, reduced testosterone, or changes in intimate health are not signs of weakness or inevitable decline. They are signals. And when you respond with knowledge, with small, consistent actions, you reclaim control over your body's story. In our final section, We'll recap what we've learned and leave you with one powerful action to begin today. We've covered a great deal in this consultation. So let's bring it all together. Testosterone doesn't suddenly disappear after 50. It declines gradually, and that decline is shaped as much by lifestyle as by age. Olive oil, with its healthy fats and powerful antioxidants, provides the raw materials and protection your body needs to keep producing testosterone. When paired with zinc, magnesium, or honey before bed, it works in harmony with your circadian rhythms to support sleep, balance insulin, reduce inflammation, and create the right environment for hormones to thrive. Here's what I want you to remember. Testosterone is not just about libido or performance. It's about strength, bone health, cognition, mood, and overall vitality. When levels drop too far, men don't just feel less intimate, they feel less alive. But the good news is this: you have tools in your own hands. Small, consistent rituals like mixing olive oil with a nutrient-rich partner before bed can help you nourish your body at exactly the time when hormones are most active. You deserve clarity, not confusion. You deserve information that empowers you, not myths that shame you. That's why I want you to walk away from this video with one clear action tonight. Try a simple mixture of olive oil with honey, seeds, or nuts. Observe how your body responds. Use that as a starting point to build consistency, not as a miracle cure, but as a supportive, evidence-informed practice. And as you do this, remember, you are not broken. You are not destined to decline without hope. Your body is adaptive, resilient, and responsive to care.